Hello friends, how are you? I hope that you're all doing very well. Today I'm going to do a reading about the United States in February 2023. I have already the cards here because I did the reading in Spanish already yesterday. Today is February the 1st. And I'm going to explain briefly how I do these readings. I have 12 basic positions in this spread. I will explain what the positions mean and also what the cards mean, the ones that are in each position, so that you understand where I get my meanings from. I still may be wrong, but at least you see where I get the meanings from. So let's start with the first card, which represents the ascendant. So this is like a superficial view of the United States, because it's the ascendant, is what people see from outside. So it could be also what other countries see in the United States, okay? And we have the cups, the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, like all aces, are starting things. This one is starting things related to emotions, okay? But it's reversed. And for me, reversed cards have different meanings compared to cards when they're in the upright position. So because this one is reversed, its meaning is diminished, is hindered somehow. So what means is that basically the opinion that other countries have about the United States is not going to change, and that for the most part is slightly not very favorable. Okay, so it's not very favorable because it's reversed. The following card represents the economy of the regular citizen, of regular people, not the very rich, which will be here when we go to the stock market, the stock exchange. This is an economy of regular people. And even if it's a card that has to do with economy, this one is related to work, because we have wands, the Eight of Wands, and wands represents work. The Eight of Wands, when it's upright, in its upright position, it means movement. It means a lot of opportunities, things coming to you. But because it's reversed, this speed disappears, and what happens is that the job market is getting weaker, is slowing down. There are not as many opportunities as we had some months ago. And therefore, this is going to influence the amount of money that people have. Because now if you are working in a place and you don't like that place, you can change jobs, but you're going to end up going to something that is similar. You're not going to get more money, and it's even going to be harder to find another job. So you have to plan in advance if you want to change jobs, because otherwise you may find yourself in a situation in which you are not working, okay, and are not earning money. So this also speaks about a slowing down of the economy of the regular person, meaning that your money, the money of regular people, is either going to stay in the same place as it is right now, or is slightly worse, slightly, a little bit, because this is not a bad card, but because it's reversed, the economy is not going to be very favorable for the regular person. The next card has to do with the media, with all the information that we receive through news outlets, through internet, whatever. The Wheel of Fortune. They are in a very good moment for themselves. Like, they're earning a lot of money, I guess, doing advertisements and also promoting different political views. Probably they get donations or money because of that. Most media are owned, if not all of them, by big corporations or are affiliated with them. So we have a moment in which they're going to be talking about very wonderful things that happen to whatever it is that they are promoting. If they're promoting, for example, the Democratic Party, they're going to be talking about how wonderful the Democratic Party is and everything that they do is good. If they are more affiliated with the Republican Party, they're going to be talking about how wonderful they are and how everything that they do is so wonderful and there's no flaw in their behavior. So you have to filter a little bit the news. If you use things like YouTube and you click on like on a particular piece of news, you're going to be given more news that are similar to that. So you're going to end up eventually with a very partial view of the world, in which you're only being fed the same thing that you see. If you see, for example, a piece of news in which, I don't know, someone stole a gun, or I'm just making up stuff, you're going to get more news saying the same thing. So you're going to have a perception that That's everything that happens on Earth, that people are stealing guns. Okay, so just be a little careful with how you get your information, because it can end up being very partial, and everything may have already been decided before is given to you otherwise. Okay, the following card has to do with housing, and the housing market. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Is going to be a good moment, which may end up being a bad moment because when houses are selling and people are buying houses and renting houses, the prices are going to go up, and that's okay as long as it goes together with an increase in the amount of money that people have. But because we have, for decades, we have big corporations like banks and other big corporations that buy huge amounts of houses in just one neighborhood, that has been increasing the price of houses, whether it's rental or for purchase, for sale. They have been increasing the prices artificially. And that has made people not being able to keep up with the increase in prices, okay? And because this month there's going to be it's going to be good for selling things, it may end up not being very good for most Americans. The following card has to do with education, with the education system in the United States, mostly public institutions, public education, and we have the Empress. The Empress is a very good card. It represents Venus in its original meaning of goddess of things that grow, things that advance, and things that get better, but she's reversed. So basically, even if there are many opportunities for this month to improve the situation of our education system, which is not good, by the way, nothing's going to happen eventually because we have it reversed. So if it happens, it's going to be in the future, not in this month. So no news here. The following card has to do with jobs. These two are related. This is the money of regular people. This is the jobs. The jobs that we have, that regular people have. We have the Fool, which is the first card of the major arcana. It's a beginning. This guy, with a very little luggage, with a very little preparation, he set out to on a journey, and he's almost about to fall down a cliff, but it's not going to happen because the dog is warning him. But if we reverse the card, that is how we got it here. If we get this card reversed, he really falls because if you put someone upside down, they're gonna fall. You have their feet to the sky and their head to the floor. The same thing with the dog. So it means that if you set out to do something, you're gonna fail unless you are very well prepared. So what does it mean for the job market? This being the first card of the major arcana, that is the start of a journey, being reversed means that there's going to be a decrease in the amount of jobs that are available, and also a decrease in the quality of those jobs that are available. And of course, that's going to influence the money that people have. Okay, so this is basically a decrease in the amount of money that you may have for yourself because of job things, work-related things. And this is agreeing perfectly with this, saying that the job market is getting worse. So that's going to influence the amount of money that you have available. Salaries are not going to increase accordingly, because if there are not as many jobs available, then the companies don't have to pay you as much. Okay, so that's what's going to happen in February. The following card has to do with agreements with other countries. Since I started doing readings with Donald Trump and started getting negative cards in this position, the relationship of the United States with other countries has really gotten much worse since then, when he started implementing laws that were aggressive against other countries, breaking agreements that had taken decades to make and suddenly breaking them. Now countries are hesitant to do any agreement with the United States because they don't know if, okay, we're going to be working on this agreement for 10 years and then they are just going to one day decide, okay, you know what, we don't like it anymore. For no particular reason, we just don't like it, let's break it. So this thing is going to continue, and it's motivated by money, by resources, by lack of trust related to resources, because we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of richness, of money, there are a lot of coins here going on, but it's reversed. So it's an issue with money. That's why I'm saying things about agreements. There were many agreements that were broken when the United States, when Trump was the president, with the European Union. Of course, with China, they still continue to a certain degree. The Biden administration hasn't changed the China situation. And with many other countries, with Mexico, with Canada. So countries right now don't trust the United States to make any type of agreement, okay? That includes resources, that deals with resources, with money, okay? The following card has to do with the stock exchange, and we have the Ace of Swords, and they're going to be good. That's what happens. You have people that are suffering a little bit. When people are suffering and have worse jobs and less money, the very rich get more money because the money does not evaporate. That's what happened in 2008. Money didn't evaporate. It's not that aliens came and ate it. Most of the money ended up in the very rich, and people eventually didn't have more money. So there is going to be a slight increase, not a huge increase, but there's going to be a slight increase in the stock exchange when you compare the beginning and the end of the month. So an improvement. The following card has to do with immigration, and I got this card, which was a good card, but it's a card of hierarchy, because you see that the Hierophant, like this guy is big, and it's there in the center on a throne, sitting in the throne, and you have these disciples that are lowly beings compared to him. So I was like, what does this mean? So I got 3 additional cards, all of them reversed. I didn't do it on purpose, but I got all of them reversed. I got the Queen of Rods, that is the Queen of Wands reversed, the Moon reversed, and the Page of Rods reversed. And because there are a lot of reversals, it tells me that there's not going to be much change. There is some type of planning, because the Hierophant is planning, and the Hierophant may have a protective attitude, but eventually nothing is done, nothing substantial is done this month. If something is done, we will see the consequences in the following months, but not this month, okay? Things stay as they are with so many reversed cards, in particular cards that have to do with rods, with wands, with movement, with a creation. If they are reversed, there is no creation, there is no movement, there are no new things happening, okay? The following, although with this card there may be some thinking about protecting somehow immigrants. But it's just thinking or talking. I don't see action that will be seen and perceived this month. If something is created this month, it will be seen in the future, not now. The government, it has a Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles implies deciding something. When it's upright, well, it doesn't imply deciding something. When it's upright, it's not deciding anything, because this guy is just thinking eternally with this infinite symbol, the symbol of infinity, just thinking, what do I get? Do I get this one? Do I get this one? How much does it weigh? How much does this one weigh? Is this heavier than this one? But when we reverse it, finally, he makes a decision about what? I got 2 runes, Futhark runes, the Elder Futhark runes. I got the Sowilo, that is the sun, and I got Dagas, meaning day. This is a very good card, rune. It implies energy, it implies strength, and Dagas implies gathering resources that you have been accumulating in the past and being able to use it. So even if the government now, you can consider that it's at an impasse, because we have Congress divided by a majority of Republicans and a minority of Democrats, and the Senate is the opposite, a majority of Democrats and a minority of Republicans. Still, the government is going to be able to move things and get enough agreements or support to move on things that have to do with material things, with money, with resources. They will be able to move things, okay? Which is really what I got in the reading that I did for the whole year, that in spite of the fact that there is a division in between Democrats and Republicans, that they're still going to be able to work. And I hope that I'm not wrong about that, because, we, people who pay taxes, we pay them. Hopefully they will do their job, okay, instead of just fighting against each other and wasting our money. So hopefully they will in fact get agreements and things done. for the good of people. So the next card has to do with social services. We have the Moon. The Moon is a card in which things are accentuated, emphasized, whether they're good or bad. Good feelings, they're accentuated, they're emphasized. Bad feelings, the same thing. The Moon puts all emotions in exaltation. So it's not going to be a good moment for social services. There are going to be big fights related to these things and people who don't want to yield. So no movement in this regard. The following two cards have to do with natural disasters because we're still with the COVID, the eternal illness or pandemic. I got also a card for the COVID thing because since we started with that, I've been taking one more card for that within this position that is for natural disasters. So the regular position for natural disasters, we have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is like all pages. Pages bring news. Cups related to things related to water because cups are water. So there may be floodings. There may be, I don't know, not tsunamis, but there may be storms that end up causing damages in the coast. But mostly it's things related to water, to floodings and things like that. But nothing major. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that. Too much rain, suddenly, things like that. Then the Queen of Cups for things related to the coronavirus is telling me that there is adequate planning related to things related to water, which means it can be, when we're talking about medicine, it can be things that are liquid medicines like the vaccines, okay? So there is adequate distribution of vaccines for all those who want to use it. And I think that is under control in most places, okay? There is not going to be suddenly a lot of people dying like it happened at the beginning of the pandemic. So it's kind of controlled for those who want to control it, okay? Then the last card is kind of a summary of all the reading, and we have the Five of Pentacles. Fives are not good cards. They are not good cards in this tarot deck. There are other tarot decks in which fives are good, but not in Radiant Waite decks like this one. You can see obviously here that these people are poor. It's reversed, so it's better when you reverse a card. It loses a little bit of its meaning, because this one has a negative meaning. When you reverse it, it's a little better. But this is telling us about huge discrepancies that we've seen already with respect to social classes, that every time there is more of a difference in between the people who have a lot of resources and the people who don't. And even if it's reversed, we are still going to see this accentuated, that the rich are getting richer and regular people are not. If you compare the situation of a regular average citizen now with 20, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, you were able, for example, in LA, you were able to buy a very good house, a very, very good house, if you were, for example, a university professor in downtown LA. Right now, if you're a university professor in LA, if you're lucky, you will be able to find an apartment that you can share. You cannot afford by yourself, but maybe you can share it and rent it for a while if you have a little help from the university. And the same thing happens with every profession. And in the past, if you took a loan to study, then you would finish your studies and you would get a job that would be enough for you to pay the loan and go on with your life like normally. But now you end up with a very big loan debt and a very bad job, and you can barely survive. So we have been losing the ability to purchase power for decades, okay? And this is increasing. This month is increasing too. What do we have in the cut? We have the Emperor, which is reversed, which is government, and it's not just central government, it's all governments. The United States is, every state is a different story with sometimes very different rules, and there is not unity, and there is not agreement in decisions. Even if the central government is going to be able to pass and move forward with things that have to do with economy, with material things, in general, there is a huge disarray in things that have to do with our government in the United States. They're too divided, and they don't see eye to eye, and they don't want to see each other's perspectives. And that leads us to the Magician reversed. The Magician has the ability to modify and use all the elements, but when this card is reversed, he can't do anything with those things because they fall, and he's out of control, and he doesn't know what he's doing. So the government is creating all this instability. These fights within the government are creating a lot of instability that is even going to, I mean, it started a long time ago, but it's been accentuated with Trump, and it's going to continue, unfortunately. And certainly during this month, it's going to continue. So this is the reading. If you like the way in which I do readings, thumbs up. Otherwise, thumbs down. If you have any comments or suggestions, or you want to, or you want me to do a reading about something in particular, you can put it in the comment section, and I will do it as soon as I can. In any case, I hope that you have a good job if you need it, that you have a lot of money, that you have a good house, that you have love, that you have happiness, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.